Well, I am excited to invite on a true culture icon. We have seen and heard her just about everywhere over the years, and now we get to tune in to see her beautiful face on America Now. And we're lucky to have her here to talk about the show and her latest book, Take Two. The great Leeza Gibbons. Hey, Leeza.
You are a darling. Thank you so much for that fab introduction. Hey.
Well, hey, you deserve it. And I have to tell you real quick, this is kind of funny, and there's no way you're going to remember this, but it was back like in 1982, 83. I was doing my first like little guest star on television, as you know, some of us did before we did other things, on a show called Riptide. And I met you on set, and you were the sweetest, most amazing, warm person to me, and I never forgot that.
Oh, my goodness. First of all, the 80s, how much we love the 80s, and Riptide.
I know. Well, you were like 12 and doing probably your very first interview. I don't know.
That's really awesome. Thanks for bringing that up.
Well, you were just so sweet to me because I was really a nobody. And so it was really nice that you took the time to talk to me, and you just made me feel good. So I wanted to just thank you. Now that I'm 53.
First of all, I love that you said that, because I think that, we're always reinventing ourselves. We're always life under construction and works in progress on our way to whatever is next. And I think the sign of a true goddess is someone who can, celebrate someone else's success, someone who can see someone, who is striving and trying. And I think that's when we're at our most beautiful. When
I agree.
Really see the vulnerability in another person.
That's awesome. That is so true. Well, I am so excited for America Now, and it's just debuted on the 9th, and you are in your, fourth season, and now you're in the top 10 markets.
It feels amazing to finally have, first of all, to have my family be able to see the show, because it's been like a Broadway show kind of in rehearsals, and now we've been really grateful for the markets that we've been in, but we've been in about 30% of the country. Now we're, as you say, everywhere, and it's the news you can really use, and we give you ways to actually use the news. So the whole idea behind the show, Moll, is to say, look, we know you're time-starved. We know you're overwhelmed and overstimulated. That's everybody. So we give you information on everything from technology and health and keeping your family safe and saving you money. And we give you real takeaway information, how to put that to use in your life right away.
Well, if you're just joining me, I'm visiting with Leeza Gibbons, who's on America Now, which honestly, it's a very positive show, which I love. I love that. And we are so in need of that. Now, when you sat down and started this whole process, was that something that you set out to do or just organically happened?
I was so lucky. This was one of those serendipitous things. The show was happening as a once-a-week show with my buddy Bill Rancic. And there's a station group, Raycom Stations, our media partners that are so fantastic. They were doing this show with Bill. They decided to take it 5 nights a week and said, what do you think? So talk about just, a gratitude moment. And we just started building it from there. And you're right, it is empowering. The whole idea is how to make you an authority in your own life. We don't spend time tearing anybody down. The headlines are sometimes devastating enough. So
sure.
What we do is say, this is shocking, this is scary, oh my gosh, this is upsetting. Never mind, here's what you can do.
Well, that's positive in itself. It's helping people to really not focus on the negative and try to figure it out.
Yeah, because especially as whether it's in your career or as a busy mom, as the CEO of your family, as someone, who's all of us, for example, we just did a story about, everybody's got a cell phone.
Mm-hmm.
If you're a mom or a grandmom, you're posting pictures of your kids. How do you keep those safe? If you're a young adult, I was surprised that 50% of young adults admit to posting intimate pictures online, and hackers are getting those photos, and they're demanding money not to post them. So,
oh my gosh, yeah.
on how to learn to remotely wipe your phone clean, just how to be smart with technology because it's being used against us now.
Wow. Well, how are you feeling about your co-host, Bill Rancic? Because from what I understand, he comes across super sweet. I've met his wife, and she's adorable, but he seems like such a warm and friendly guy. Is he as warm and friendly as he appears?
I love Bill Rancic. I do. He's like a kid brother to me. I love Juliana, too. She is just the best, as you know. And he and I have, we're very much alike. You know, we're really time efficient. He's busy. I'm busy. We like empowering people. We both really love the show. He's worked hard for his success. We both come from, you know, very middle class roots where we had to kind of be scrappy and fight for everything we've got. So we're really grateful. And he and my husband are friends. Juliana and I are friends. We're really we just have a great time doing it. But this guy is. I mean, he is the ultimate Ken doll. He's like out there running marathons. He's got like not 1 ounce of body fat on it. His hair never moves. His
Oh man,
lighter than white. It's insane.
Oh, my goodness. Well, if you're just joining me, I am lucky enough to be visiting with Leeza Gibbons, who, well, I don't have to tell you, you know who she is just by saying her name. And I think everyone can picture your beautiful face at the same time. And when I say grow up with you, I'm older than you. So I've been watching you for as long as you were on television, you know. But you've got this new book out called Take Two, Your Guide to Creating Happy Endings and New Beginnings. Can you walk us through this and tell us really what led you to write it?
I believe that we tend to get really down on ourselves when we end up at dead ends. And life is a series of closed doors. But what that means is we have to figure out a way around it, through it, under it, over it, and we call for another take. It's as simple as that. Maybe it's a little adjustment. Maybe it's a tweak. You know, in our business, it's, you know, finding a different angle, some better light, a new background, calling for another take. So whether you got divorced or depressed, whether you got fired, whether you gained weight or lost confidence, it doesn't matter. You can always just say that was then and it's now, and come up with different strategies and different approaches to be a new person in your life. And, you know, I had to do it. We all have to do it because our labels change. And, you know, it started for me when my mom got sick with Alzheimer's disease, and my oldest child left home and went to college. My marriage ended. All the ways I used to identify myself had shifted, and I thought, okay, I've got to show up for myself in a different way. And so I started this journey and realized maybe I have something to offer, and that's what I wrote the book about.
Well, that's really wonderful of you to open yourself up, because people look at you and you're perfect, you're beautiful, and you went through this divorce and faced all these things. And to share this is such a wonderful thing, because women just think they're alone out there and they don't think anybody else goes through this, you know. And I know what it's like to have a child go off to college, and all of a sudden one day you're thinking, wait a minute, am I supposed to be picking someone up, dropping somebody off, and this whole identity shifts, you know?
It does. And, you know, my littlest one is 16. I've got 24, 21, 16. And, you know, whether your kids are like mine, you know, young adults and approaching that, or whether you've still got toddlers and tweens at home, your relationship with your children can change. So if you said, oh my gosh, I've been a permissive parent, or I've been a nagging parent, or I've been dictatorial, I don't want to be that way anymore, or I've been a whiny wife, I've been an ungrateful daughter, whatever it is, you can shift that energy and redefine your relationships at any point, at any time. You can do it with your employers, with your children, with your spouse, with yourself, most importantly, because it all begins with, what is your relationship with you? How do you see yourself? And have you really taken time to look at who you are now, and not looking back with regret at, oh gosh, I wish I were, you know, the person I was in college when I was thinner. I wish I made all the money I made in my 30s. I wish I was still married. I wish I was divorced. So stuck on all those things.
Living in the past, right?
Open up, right.
Well, one of my favorite sayings, of course, and I say it all the time here, is it's never too late to be who you were meant to be, you know? And sometimes people get caught up.
That's right.
I know. And sometimes people get caught up in saying, well, you know, I set out to be this and I set out to be that, but it's not really your passion sometimes. But then people are afraid to let go of it because then they're afraid about what other people will think that they've failed. And so they hang on to that. You know what I mean?
You're so right. And you can't, there's a great quote. You probably said this one too, because it's very you, and I use it in the book. It's Louise Smith. You can't reach for tomorrow if your hands are filled with yesterday's junk.
I love that.
Of all that yesterday's junk.
I agree. Because you got to live. We never know how much time we have. And I mean, with your mother and everything that you've gone through, certainly you would know that better than anyone.
And we all go through loss, and never minimize another person's loss. You know, losing a job, losing an opportunity, losing a pet, losing a parent, losing pride. All of those things are moments, big and small, of grief, and they all help us, I think, build stronger kinds of reserves of emotional energy. And I think where we get stuck, Moll, is when we have so much emotional overhead in our lives that we can't move forward because it feels so heavy to drag all this stuff along. So, I think you have to release it and figure out ways to let it go and lighten up that emotional overhead, because we do it to ourselves.
I know. This is such a great message and such an important book. And you, of all people, I mean, you are a mom, a wife, a businesswoman, an entrepreneur. I mean, you've got so many things going on, and you look amazing all the time. Can you give some of my listeners tips on how to juggle their day better? Because you certainly seem to be doing it pretty darn good.
Well, thanks. Some days I do, but I forget pretty quickly. A couple of things. I gave up looking for balance because I think balance is bogus, and I think it's used against us to make us feel guilty.
That's good.
I try to navigate the days. I don't look for them to be equal parts of life harmony. I think that's a bunch of bull. I do the best I can, and I navigate and put my energy where I think it needs to be. And some days it's all mommy time. Some days it's all work time. I put my energy where it needs to be. That's one thing. The other thing is, I write about this in the book, and I talk about learning to say yes. If yes stands for your empowerment system.
Okay.
We still struggle with, what do I say no to? What do I say yes to? I feel so bad. I've overcommitted to things. How come I let people run all over me and I'm a doormat and I feel too overstretched in my life? Well, think about what really empowers you.
Mm-hmm.
What do you need to feel empowered? You need to feel confident and respected and valued. So look at the things you say yes to. If they fit into your empowerment system, go ahead and agree. And if they don't, let that be your line in the sand, and don't apologize for saying no. No is a complete sentence. Just say no. No further explanation is necessary. And once you get the hang of it, people will respect you. You start treating yourself better. And guess what? Everybody else treats you better too.
So you're basically saying say yes to quality life for yourself.
Because when you say yes, when you say no to other people and other things that aren't of value to you, you're saying yes to yourself and your family.
Right.
And that's what's more important. And that's when you'll begin to grow your pride, grow your courage. And when you feel better about you, everything starts working better in your life. It just does.
If you're just joining me, I'm visiting with Leeza Gibbons, and oh my gosh, is there anything you haven't done? and when I say that, what do you see passionate-wise in your future? Is there something out there that you've got on the horizon that's brewing in your soul?
Yes, of course, we all do. There's so many, many things. So many things that I want to do with my husband, so many things that we want to, paths we want to walk down together to create change. I have a nonprofit, and we support husbands and wives and sons and daughters that take care of someone they love who is sick or dying. And I have a real passion to connect those caregivers to each other. So I have a real dream for this Care Connectors project, and that's very much on my heart right now. But, you know, like everybody else, I'm still focusing on my emerging skill of living in the present moment, and that's a daily reset. You know,
I'll say. I know that one.
The reset button every day. Every day I get a new chance to do it, and I'm learning.
Well, you are a great teacher, and we appreciate you taking the time to visit with us today, and I think you're going to help a lot of women. And you get to tune into America Now and see her beautiful face sitting right next to Bill Rancic, and pick up Take Two, because you need to. It's your guide to creating happy endings and new beginnings. And Leeza, it's so great to visit with you all these, I don't know how many years, 25, 30 some years later.
Don't wait so long before the next time.
I know. Well, you come back anytime. We're just thrilled to have you. Thank you so much for joining us today.
That's so sweet. I have a lot of respect for you, and I had a great time.